Hey everybody, this is Garrett with Diary of a Foundling, or Intentionally Living Life with You. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting but very dangerous situation that could occur on your RV. I am referring to an RV hot skin situation. Now let me tell you what RV hot skin is, where you are having unwanted power coming through the frame of your RV. Now this could happen in a multitude of ways. It could happen from someone putting a screw into a 120 volt line in your RV. It could come from miswired pedestals at the campsite. Or it could even come if you are mooch docking at someone's house and their power is not hooked up properly. There is an effective method that you can use to test for RV hot skin. Well, right now I am actually boondocking, so I can't really show you how to do this properly. But let's go back to an RV park and I'll show you how that works there. It's a very simple process for you to check for hot skin, and I want to show you that now. Basically, what you'll do is you'll get about 50 feet of cable. Now, what I did is I just ran a line from the back of the trailer all the way to the front and about 10 feet beyond. You'll want about 50 feet of this 18 gauge single strand cable. Next, you want a regular 120 volts 15 amp outlet, and you'll be hooking it up a really kind of specific way. So just one of those simple, easy. Next, you'll need to have a multimeter. Now, this can be really any type of multimeter. I'll show you with mine. It doesn't need to be a very expensive multimeter, but you do need to be able to check 12 volt and 120 volt with your multimeter. Now I'm going to take this handy little cord holder. I'm going to just take this and wrap it all up in here so that all the 50 feet is not loose, but it is in fact wrapped up nicely in this holder. And there we go. I now have two ends that are hooked into the same cable, but it's nice and contained inside of this. This is very, very helpful so that you can pack this and store this away, and then you can just pull it out when you need to test stuff. Now we're going to hook up our 120 volt outlet to this wire. You are not going to hook this up the normal way, and I'll show you why in a second. Feed my cable through the little housing, and then you want to get just a little bit out. You are going to hook this cable up to the ground. Now, the ground is this bottom prong and is usually covered in this green color. That's the only outlet that you're going to hook up to, nothing else. I'll put this in here and tighten this up. Now I'll close it up like a normal outlet. Your one end is hooked up to your plug, and this will go get plugged into a ground. Next, you'll want to take one of your leads that goes to your multimeter, and these are ones you can get on Amazon really cheap. So I am going to cannibalize this one and show you how to make this into the other end of this. Cut this one up, and then I take the wire. So now, the wire, I'm going to do the same thing to the other end here. Two ends exposed, and then I'm going to use a watertight butt connector assembly, and I'll slide both ends in, crimp them up, and then I'll shrink them down. It may be helpful to twist the ends to get it into the wire nut. This. Crimp it down. Same thing to the other side. All right, now I've created a tester. It's pretty simple, pretty easy to use. I'm gonna go ahead and seal this up here. Won't have any watertight issues. Now, I have secured the test lead to the rest of my tester. Let me show you how this connects. Most of your voltmeters will have two connectors. One is for communications and one is for your input. So I have one in the input here and then one into your communications tab. Now this is basically all you need. So now I have my positive lead here. My negative here will be plugged into my ground, and I'll show you how to test for that as well. All right, let's go ahead and go over to our power pedestal and I'll show you how this plugs in. Does it have a regular outlet or is it not? It does not. Preferably when you do this test, you want to go out of your power pedestal, your shore power, at your campsite. If you don't have that, the next best thing is to do something inside your rig. The only problem with that is if you don't have a proper ground to begin with, you're not going to be able to do this test properly. Okay, let me pause this video for just a second. If you do not have a wall receptacle tester, don't fear. You can do this with your multimeter as well. All you need to do is stick your red prong into the small receptacle on your outlet. Now, you'll take your black lead and you'll stick it into the bottom prong, which is your ground. At that point, you should be reading about 120 volts. That means you have a proper ground on that outlet. And then you are good to go to start your hot skin test. So I'm going to, for the sake of this test, plug into here, even though I would preferably like to plug in to the pedestal. Take my voltmeter, set it up here. I'm going to take my outlet and I'll plug it in to there. Now what I'm doing by plugging this, my voltmeter, into my ground, is all I'm doing is checking my different metal points in my RV against the ground. If I don't have any issues, I won't see hardly any volts. You want to make sure you're reading volts AC. So if I touch a metal, touch this metal here, I'm touching that lead right there, and you see I'm reading basically 0 volts. Okay, before we go any further, if you are getting results that are anywhere between 1 to 5 volts, then you are probably okay. If you are getting anywhere between 6 volts and up, you definitely want to make note of that and contact a certified RV technician or a qualified electrician to come and take a look. Now, there could be a multitude of problems that are causing this, so if you are very concerned, make sure to turn off the power to your RV and contact a specialist or someone that can help fix the problem immediately. Let's check another one here. 0. Test things like up here. It is 0. Sorry, I can't hold the camera and do this at the same time. Now, the reason why I did 50 feet is you want to go around and do this test on your entire rig. So by having 50 feet of cable spooled up here, I can take out the amount of cable that I need to walk around my entire rig and test it out. I'm gonna go walk around and I'll tell you my findings. While you're conducting your hot skin test, make sure that you document any areas that are of concern. Just take a picture of your voltmeter touching the area that you have concerns about and let a RV tech know or someone at the park know. So if you see anything above 5 on your voltmeter while you're testing this in AC voltage, you want to make sure to get that checked out. If you don't have any issues, then consider yourself lucky. You have a safe RV that you don't have to worry about. The areas that could be of most concern to you would be if you're hooked up at a friend's house or at your house and the power is not hooked up properly. That's when you have the majority of your hot skin issues. I hope this video was helpful to you, and this will help keep you and your family safe. If you haven't, make sure to go check out some of our other RV tips and trick videos. I'll leave a link in the description and at the end of this video so you can go watch some of those other videos as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and as always, live life intentionally. Bye everybody.